I do that lick a lot. Getting back to the previous point. So like, you're playing. Right? So you're not even really changing your whole trip over here, like in positionally or what you're thinking. You're just adding notes with like one finger. And I'll use my right hand to add what I would call like pointillistic decorations. So and then the last thing you heard, of course, is like palm muting, doing a 3-finger pull off to another open string note. So maybe I will go ahead and talk about some pedal points. I was talking about pedal points earlier, like that. Yeah, you always hear him play something like that, and it'd be like, So like, use my right hand to add some extra notes. Like that kind of a rhythm, Yeah. For scalar stuff or arpeggiated stuff, Well, hello once again, ladies and gents. So, as you can see, I have moved back to my other guitar. So it now has this synth pickup reattached to it. So it has become numero uno once again. But today I was just going to basically cover a bunch of stuff about weird licks, like strange patterns and things, maybe odd combinations of notes, just weird intervallic things, ladder licks that go from one area to another. Just really anything that kind of really adds spice and gives you that what the hell was that kind of factor in your solos, which is maybe not the way a lot of people think about it, but I'm going to go into more depth about that. See, a lot of times I'm thinking more on the lines of what it looks like when it's notated rather than what it is on the fingerboard, or it's coming from something else like the drums, like there's inspiration from that or another instrument or so on and so forth. So let's just dive right in. So first and foremost, it kind of goes without saying that a lot of these things come from tapping routines and things that I've come up with. I'll give you a simple example. You hear people playing these kind of the sixth stuff. See, so it's really simple, just on its face, the regular kind of stuff, right? But you can actually start to apply other techniques to even that. Like I'm doing a little bit of palm muting. And then kind of move it over into other harmonic areas. So any type of tune to play where you have changes, you could apply that, where it's going from chord to chord, that kind of thing. Also, there's an interesting, I don't know if you know who one of these Berkeley guys, I think he's one of the teachers at Berkeley, named Tim Miller, right? Probably putting that up here, Tim Miller. Had this interesting thing about, like you're playing. So, like you're skipping two sets of strings. Like you have skip a string, skip a string. But like maybe you're still keeping it within the modal set of major or minor or whatever church mode you're using. So that in and of itself is an interesting thing to do. But a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take an idea like that and then so like use my right hand to add some extra notes. That's kind of warp speed, of course. Yeah. So there's one approach. There's a million different ways to apply this stuff. Suppose you could even start taking it, stretching it out in both directions modally with either hand. Sometimes I'll take that same concept. So like, the diminished scale, right? And apply it like that because it's a symmetrical scale, right? So you just have 6 intervals that just move along the, pretty nice. Same thing goes for the augmented. Or, I use that kind of stuff whenever there's like a whole tonality or something like that, or an augmented tonality, or altered dominant that's got augmented intervals in it, like that. You can use those kinds of things. So let's say, okay, we're going back to what I did in the previous video a little bit. You're just playing your, blues box pentatonics. That kind of thing, and all the variations thereof. I do the same thing with fourths, you know. So that kind of gives it an Eric Johnson-ish kind of a vibe too, a little bit, you know. So like that, right? I better explain this. So like sometimes some different players will play groups of 4, groups of 3 a lot. I tend to, when I play groups of 4, it's a lot of times like it's still based off of the 3, but with the note above or below or something, you know. And a lot of that has to do with me being able to physically stretch to do it. I can't. I have like baby carrot-sized fingers, you know, like unlike Paul Gilbert or somebody like that, you know. So if I do it, you know, I'll just use 2 fingers on my other hand or something, and it's purposefully just to get 4 notes on one string, and it's for a specific kind of sound. Like if I was doing drum fills, you know, sometimes a lot of times drummers will play triplet fills. So like you're, you know, but sometimes, you know, it makes more sense to do like 16th notes or 32nd notes. So, you know, but see, it's certain tempos that's a little bit monotonous to just be playing 16th notes. So like, you know, like that, you know. See, that's not too monotonous. The 32nd note thing is just kind of monotonous if you're doing it constantly, because it's, I don't want to say like referencing Mozart here, or the movie, you know, that Amadeus, that there's too many notes, but there kind of can be too many notes if it's done constantly, and then you destroy the effect of there being fast passages, you know. So like maybe, and even beyond that, maybe you could do a lot of that in 1 or 2 songs, but you don't want to have the entire album just nothing but 32nd and 64th note licks, right? It's on drums or whatever. You maybe can get away with it on guitar to a certain degree, you know, with some spaces here and there. But I mean, I don't know, like we're really trying to make music versus just all flash, you know what I mean? I mean, it kind of, plus I think about playing that live. You're literally setting yourself up to have to play tons and tons and tons and tons of notes live every night consistently if you tour over and over and over again from place to place, and it's just like a recipe for disaster, you know. Like you're making it harder than it needs to be in a certain context, I guess. But the same kind of thing applies, obviously, like on guitar. Like maybe it's a flourish, right? It's a flourish that is in there in a certain place or something. You know, like that kind of thing. So recently somebody emailed me about maybe taking some private lessons, and they kind of pointed out something that it was in the back of my mind, but I didn't really verbalize it in words so much to myself, but they were saying like some of your licks sound like almost like you're trying to do something that sounds computerized like that. And kind of, I mean, in a certain sense, there's a certain element of that. I don't know if I would say it's computerized. It's more imitating the digitization of things, of music, because this all came to me years ago when I was thinking about artificial intelligence and the trends that are taking place in music, and why it's happening, and so on and so forth, and like how fluid the artificial intelligence is at executing these really technically almost impossible things. So that's a sound, though. To me, on some level, I think of that as a sound. That's like a style. It's not so much the be all end all. It's more like a style, and so there's an element of that. There's newer players play with that kind of feel a little bit sometimes too. I guess I should probably just explain the whole thing with that too. So I think one of the things that a lot of newer bands and players are doing, right? So like I'm in A minor. That's not really a perfect example. I'm just kind of improvising something, but a lot of the newer players and bands and things are kind of changing register quite frequently in a lot of their lines, in a lot of their approaches. Like they'll hit a chord or do this or do that, and then kind of shift register, come back down here, play a flurry of notes here, and change register, and and so like. And I don't know necessarily if that is influenced by electronica. It sounds like it's influenced by a lot of what came before in dubstep and electronica music, which there's nothing wrong with that. And I find myself implementing some of these things that different groups are doing or different players are doing, but not in the same way. And it's not necessarily because I can't do it or I don't want to. I'm just kind of going with what's natural feeling for me. I already have kind of a consensus in my mind of what I want to do or sound like musically, or what I already do, and like how I would implement some of those concepts. But do them more organically without having to think too hard about how this applies to that. And a lot of what I do. Just to keep in mind is like I practice in a way that I can implement some of my ideas on the fly in improvisational contexts. So a long time ago, like my whole approach was all write the solo, play the same solo every time, and there's nothing wrong with that, and there's probably easier and makes more sense, especially if there's money and big concerts being thrown around. But nowadays, I kind of came to realize it's like what I really wanted to be able to do was implement these techniques in new ways right on the spot without having to have worked out all of the the kinks of the technique. So yeah, let's explore another set of ideas here. Getting back to the whole changing register thing. I was really hearing a lot of players do this kind of stuff. Like where you play the octaves. You hear that in some classical romantic period piano music a lot, like Liszt, Chopin, some Beethoven, that kind of thing. But getting, like back to the dubstep angle and things like that, where like if you're in G minor, right? I'm just playing some generic stuff here, but changing register, using odd numbers of beats that or odd tuplets, so like fives, sevens, nines, things like that. I should go ahead and mention this. For me, like a lot of this stuff came from like when I was super into the band Shakti, John McLaughlin and Zakir Hussain and El Shankar on violin, like all that kind of stuff. And then the newer band with all those people that I can never remember their names, but there's a tendency to play all different kinds of tuplets, like they'll have like a regular groove going, Yeah. I'm trying to think of how I would do this. I didn't prepare this in advance, so I have to use my lower percussion and all the toms, instead of using like a hand percussion kit. Let's see. Like that kind of stuff, right? It's got a regular groove going. I literally would just kind of take the same rhythm. So like we're in C major, right? Yeah. So like that's a lot of continuous perpetual motion type stuff where it's like one yen and one yen and one yen with the occasional or a 32nd or another grouping. But we can, as a guitarist, not play a continuous pattern, you know. Yeah, I'm going to the neck pickup now, but there's ways to break that up, you know. Yeah, keep kind of a similar feel going. And for a lot of people, you know, maybe having it in a major key is not going to be as useful. In that particular case, maybe we'll go with sus stuff, suspended stuff, you know, or just fourths and fifths. So 1s, 4, 5s, 9s. 1, 4, 5s, 9s. Second interval, same thing as a 9. Sometimes a 7, right? Because that's the same thing as a it's in a pentatonic, right? So that goes back to what I was doing earlier, you know, with all that. So a lot of the stuff in a solo, I don't know if I've necessarily used it as a continuous pattern to write a piece around it. Sometimes maybe. That guy Tigran, whatever, the piano player there in another Berkeley guy, I think, kind of similar concept, you know, with that. But sometimes I use it in a solo in a more traditional two-handed tapping capacity to play a bunch of odd groupings. You know, you can totally hear them. Let me see if I can do this on the guitar. Like that kind of a rhythm, you know? Yeah. For scalar stuff or arpeggiated stuff, you know. A lot of times, you know, so like Greg Howe, you know, you probably know Greg, or don't, I don't know. Check Greg Howe if you don't. But I think he's like a Philadelphia, Pennsylvania somewhere, I think. Fusion guitar player, rock, jazz fusion type player. And so a lot of the stuff that I do stretches way back to over there to all of that. Richie Kotzen, different players, Malmsteen, you know, like that kind of thing. Holsworth, of course, one of my biggest influences. So a lot of the stuff that I do that's like this is based on trying to play, like, maybe, you know, so like a really clean legato type thing, you know, but you know, we're implementing it almost in a percussion like fashion with all the so and you know, I'm influenced by different keyboard players too, people like Jordan Rudess, and I think John Petrucci is amazing and great, don't get me wrong. It's just a lot of times when I'm listening to like Dream Theater or any of those Liquid Tension records or something, I'm listening to the keyboard, and I'm like, or Derek Sherinian, I'm like, holy shit, like listen to that. Like that's freaking nuts. Like what's going on. So a lot of the, I kind of draw influence from different people. Like, particularly like, again, like Chick Corea. Chick Corea would play not only in like jazz standards or acoustic band type music, but obviously in the electric band, like would play these like flurries of notes and stuff, these real virtuosic things, but he would like use two hands. He wasn't trying to like, oh, look at me, I'm the amazing one-handed keyboard player, like it was just like, it works real good like this, fits on the fingers, sounds nice, it's more rhythmically precise, um, like crazy licks like that. Yeah, you always hear him play something like that, and it'd be like, uh, um, so like there's an influence there, obviously, also have some major Ingve influences as far as the technical shredding guitar playing thing goes. All those types of players, I'm kind of getting a little bit off track here, but I thought I would at least mention this, just so you know where I'm coming from on that. But like you hear like Ingve or somebody, I don't think he does like it tapping, but it's like those kind of licks. So like my thing is like I take different what I consider to be the best approach from each area and then implement it into one style. So as far as like playing weird licks, like maybe I'll take some of the note choices of like a Malmsteen, but then play them almost like Holdsworth would do it, but then also with nothing but tapping. So in order to avoid weird extraneous noises, I'm trying to make it as precise and as clean as I can, right? So like there, I'm doing pull-offs. And I do that lick a lot. And that's weird combinations and intervals. So like a lot of these things, it's perfectly possible to do a lot of it without tapping, and it's not like I'm not choosing a ball team here or like a national military. Like some people are like, I shall never do tapping, I shall only do alternate picking, or the inverse is the case or something. cool, do whatever you want to do. I just want to do things the most economical way that I possibly can. I play a lot of fingerstyle too. Um, and that's a whole other, see, that's a whole other ball game right there. It's like there's a lot of cool licks that you can do. A lot of the flamenco type things that you probably heard me do if you watch my channel. And like a lot like that right there, what I just did. Um, see, like there's no tapping, no hammer-ons, nothing in any of that. That's all just over here. Yeah. See, there's some pull-offs there. Again, this is all. Different accents, different note combinations of intervals, you know. Let's see if I can. See, like that could turn into a song. That could turn into like a prog rock tune easily, something like that. It's kind of a variation on like a basic banjo roll, except you're using like a minor 7 flat 5 type tonality. Which kind of gives it a dreamy type character. And that's a whole other thing too, is like taking some lick that you have worked out already, and then changing the tonality of it. So like it's in whatever major, minor, diminished, or whatever it is, and then like change it over to a totally different tonality. So like that kind of thing. Oh, I'll go to the neck pickup. Right, so like go to dominant 7, you know, or change it over to you know, between that minor pentatonic to the minor 7 flat 5 in a different key. And as you can tell, I have my mini humbucker in here. For some reason, this pickup works really well with this guitar. I don't know why. And I mostly just use it for jazz, two-handed type stuff, or just jazz fingerstyle. And yeah, and again, I keep saying that in a lot of different videos, but a lot of times I play diminished scale like that, 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, you know, rather than just trying to. Which you can do it that way, but it's just kind of, feels uncomfortable. So it's not super necessary to do it the other way. Maybe I will go ahead and talk about some pedal points. I was talking about pedal points earlier, you know. You know, like that. You know, kind of different classical pieces or Thunderstruck or something like that. You know, the benefit, of course, or just different classical guitar technique. You know, one of the benefits, of course, of doing it like this is that you can do it in any key. You're not using an open string, and I can, you know, not just keep like one note going as a pedal, which is this is a B. I can also have that note jump around, you know, so. You know, million different things you can do with that, especially in the middle of a technical solo where there's a lot of rhythmic constancy happening. You know, it's just that gives it another, almost like a three-dimensional type effect or something like that. I'll give you an example of what I mean. So like that. Same exact deal is that, basically. So let's go over one more thing, I guess. It's kind of something that I do. I can do it with just my right hand, but I find that this is this is like so simple but it's so cool at the same time. So like you're playing a rock solo, major, minor, or a pentatonic of some kind, you know. You know, that kind of a basic feel we all know based on the blues. And I'll use my right hand to add what I would call like pointillistic decorations. So. And then the last thing you heard, of course, is like palm muting. Kind of a weird Chinese, Japanese type thing happening there. And you know, that's purely percussion in a sense. But getting back to the previous point, so like, you know, you're playing. Right? So you're not even really changing your whole trip over here, like in positionally or what you're thinking. You're just adding notes with like one finger, you know? But you can tell like there's just notes flying all over the place in different directions. See? And you can just think of it like a legato finger is complementing your legato left hand. Yeah. That's something strange that I do sometimes when I'm really, things get real fucking intense, you know, is doing a 3-finger pull off to another open string note. So it sounds good with 2 fingers, but the 3, that's really where it's at, I think, is and there's different ways, I guess, to approximate that. Like you could do it like that or something. There's a million different ways to finger this stuff. It's like I always talk about, you know, like doing your major and minor 7th arpeggios. You know, like that. Yeah. And again, you know, knowing all your arpeggios, majors and minors, every inversion. Super duper useful because, you know, you can literally start to take your right hand and, you know, implement stuff within that too. So I guess it's a good amount of stuff. Hopefully you got something out of this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. And I will definitely see you on the next vid. Yep, you should definitely watch that one.